Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing some embellishments that I created to go along with this paper pad project that I started last year. So I took this 12 by 12 paper pad, I completely tore it apart, and I used it to create 20 base pages and about 12 cards. And I had a bunch of scraps left over, and so I decided to take those scraps and use them to make some embellishments to go with my base pages. And so a few people left comments on that video. I shared this in a video about a month ago. So if you're interested in seeing all of the base pages and checking that out, I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But a couple of people left comments asking if I would share the embellishments once I had them created. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. So I have to say, when I started working on this project to create embellishments, the very first thing I decided to do was to go over to YouTube and watch a bunch of videos because sometimes I don't really know how to start or how to get started. And so I think by watching other people do things and what they come up with and all the amazing things that people create, it can give you ideas on what might work for your project and what you're trying to do. So that's what I did. Now, I had a couple of really amazing videos. Actually, it was more than a couple. I can't remember exactly how many I wrote down, but I'm going to put links to all of these videos in the description below if y'all want to check those out. Now, some of them I really wanted to do, but I just did not have the time, or I tried it out and I just couldn't get it to work because I just need more practice. One of the things I tried was making crepe paper rosettes, and that did not go well. I think that's something I'm going to have to practice a little bit before I can maybe make one of those. But three of my favorites I'll just mention. The first one is Septeria 18. She has some really gorgeous embellishments. I just love her channel. And one of my favorite things that I did with my embellishments I got from her, and that was using a paper clip to attach little hearts and things on your embellishments. And so I went crazy with the stapler. The next person was LilyBelle. I just love Lolly. Lolly is the person that I learned about making buttons with the button maker, and I love watching her channel as well. And she has a really great tutorial on how to create little mini envelopes, and I did create a few mini envelopes, and I did use a punch board, but you can do it without the punch board, and I'll link her video so that you can watch her tutorial if you want to make the mini envelopes but you don't have a punch board. And then the third person that I really got a lot of inspiration from was Carolina's Crafts. And one of the things I really loved was she did some little shaker embellishments, and that was another thing that I did not do, but I want to try that out. I just hadn't had time to do that one yet. But she has some really cute embellishments that she makes on her channel. Okay, so I'm going to put links to all of those videos that I watched, or the ones that inspired me, because I watched tons. I didn't keep track of them all, but the ones that inspired me, I'll put links to those in the description below. If you're interested in learning more about creating your own embellishments, those are some awesome videos to watch. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what I actually created here. So one of the things I'm also really big into right now is using my fringe scissors. So I did use these fringe scissors. These came from Spellbinders, and it's the Fun Stamper Journey fringe scissors. These are also herb scissors. Showed these to my mom, and I told her, I said, look at these really cool scissors I got for my scrapbooking, and I can create fringe. And she goes, Karen, those are herb scissors. You use those in the kitchen to chop up your herbs. So I think if you have those in your kitchen, you could probably use those as well. Okay, so I love how that looks when you create the fringe, and I just layered a bunch of fringe on top of some cardstock, added some washi tape, used a punch and punched out a little butterfly, and then I also created a hole reinforcer to add to the top. I love putting that there because it makes the tag look more decorative. And I added the staple there in the middle, and one of the things I love about putting this little staple there is that you can kind of pull up the little butterfly wings, and it really adds a lot of dimension to that. So I think that came out really cute, and I made a couple of them. This one's a little bit bigger and very similar though. I just layered pieces of fringe and a border strip that I had left over and some washi tape. and created that. Now I will say I'm using some gold staples, and so I think that's really cool that I have these staples that are gold, and I did get that from Spellbinders. Last year when Spellbinders was having their warehouse sale, they had this little stapler on clearance, and I think I paid $3 for this stapler, and it's awesome. I think it's very similar to the Tim Holtz mini stapler because it uses the little tiny staples. And it came with silver staples, but I was able to buy some gold ones. They had the gold ones on clearance as well. So I have the Tim Holtz stapler that I keep the silver staples in, and now I have this one for the gold staples. And I just love that. I think that adds such a fun touch to these embellishments. And you'll see that over and over again. I went kind of crazy with the stapler. Okay, now I think I shared this in my first video where I shared the base pages. And I took a 4x6 cut apart, folded it in half, rounded the corners, added a little tag, and created this journaling pocket. And I thought that was super cute. And then I had another 4x6 journaling card that was left over. And for this one, I added a tab on the top and a couple of little hearts that I also used a stapler on. I added a little heart down here and a gold paper clip. And I think this would be really fun to add some hidden journaling or extra photos on your scrapbook layout. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this back on. But yeah, so I think if you have 4x6 project cards, I did a video not too long ago where I shared how you can create journaling pockets using old project cards if you have some extra cards that you want to use up. And I'll put a link to that video in the description below as well. Okay, so the other thing that I created here were some little banners, or I guess they're tags because I did add the hole and the hole reinforcer to the top. But I just layered little pieces of paper and washi tape and then created the banner at the bottom and added in some hole reinforcers up here at the top. Okay, and then here's a more simple tag. This one actually was one of the cut aparts, and I just changed it up a little bit. I cut this part off of the end and added it to the top of the tag and then put one of the hole reinforcers there. Okay, so that was the first little set that I have here. Now I'm keeping these embellishments in these little sleeves. These came from Amazon, and I'll put a link to that in the description of the video as well. And it's this brand here. It's called Max Tech, and they're CD DVD sleeves. And I use these to store a lot of my ephemera and die cuts. And I really like doing that. I just added some inexpensive white cardstock here. And so then once you get the embellishments in there, you can take this little flap and tuck it behind. And it kind of keeps everything secure in there so nothing falls out. And I just love storing my embellishments that way because it keeps things together. Now I did have quite a few embellishments, and some of them are dimensional. So I have more than one of these. I have actually 3 of them. So let's take a look at this one here. I have some smaller embellishments in this one, as well as more tags. And there's no rhyme or reason why some of them were in that one. I just did that because I was just trying to see how many I could fit in there. Okay, so here's another tag that I created. And I just added little flowers here that I punched out with a punch. And this is just a little bead that I had. Okay, let's see. I created a couple of more. Oops, they're going everywhere. This one I just used a brad and then 2 pieces of paper. And I did a heart punch out there so you could see the paper underneath. Okay, this was just a die that I had that creates little bows, and I have a couple of those. Okay, here's another tag that I created. And this one was just a strip of paper, part of a leftover border strip and some washi tape. Okay, then I have some brown tags that I created. These are just using a circle punch, and then I did a half circle punch and glued that together, and then just added on some hearts and a butterfly on this one. Oops. I'm not doing a very good job of holding these up to the camera. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Oh, there we go. And one of the things that was really cool was one of the papers that was in this paper pack was a craft colored paper, but it had gold foiling on it. And so that's where a lot of this gold foiling is coming from. Now I did bring in some mirror card. And so I cut out some butterflies using mirror card and some of the cardstock that I had left over. And I did add the mirror card in as well because this paper had gold in it. I thought that would be a good accent to bring in. And I might actually put some jewels here. I like to put jewels in the center of all the butterflies. And I'll probably do that later once I add it onto my project. Okay, so in addition to the ones that have the gold, I also created a couple of other ones here that were just different colors. I think this was a light pink over a tan color paper. And that butterfly die set is from Ulta New. And this is what that one looks like. It has several different like solid pieces that can go behind the butterfly shape, and then this is the ones that do the top part. So it's 2 layers, which is really cool. Okay, let's see. I also created some little hearts here. Now these, this is an interesting thing that I did here. I actually took a piece of napkin, I wadded it up, and then I glued it on top of some cardstock and created that. And then I added some lace. I had some lace left over from a gift that I wrapped. And so it was this lace right here. And I did use that on a couple of my embellishments. And then added a flower and a jewel and then just a little piece of ribbon at the top. And then for this one, I added some washi tape, some fringe, and this is actually a tack. I got a whole bunch of these from Tuesday Mornings. It's a push pin you put into a like a cork bulletin board. And I took my wire cutters and I snipped it off, and so I could add it onto one of my embellishments. I just took the pin off the back of it. Oops. And then just glued it on. And I think that's really cute. I love that. It looks like a little bow tie. Okay, and let's see. I also have this heart. This one I just did similar to the first tags that I shared with you, with washi tape, some fringe, and some leftover trim pieces. And one of the things that I did with this one is I cut it out using a punch, and I almost broke my punch. So if you're going to do this where you're layering multiple papers together and then punching it, it's best to use thinner paper and not cardstock. I've done that before and I didn't have any trouble with creating this layered shape. But I used several thicker pieces of cardstock and it did not work very well. Okay. I also used a little punch from, I think this punch is from Creative Memories. It's a camera punch. And I just created a couple of little cameras. I think those are super cute. So you can just use dies and punches and just make, you know, things using whatever tools that you have available in your craft room. Here's the little mini envelopes that I created. Now I did use an envelope punch board. I use this little mini envelope punch board, and it makes the most little adorable envelopes. And so I made 2 different envelopes. This is a 2x2 envelope. And then I created my own little piece of paper that I could put in there to do some journaling on. And this one, I just wrote out the word hello and just tucked it in there. I think it's got a visitor though. I have a little chipboard heart that's not supposed to be in there. And so this is the 2 little envelopes that I created. Okay, and okay, so here are some more tags. So I did create quite a few tags, and some of them were more simple than others. And then here's just a circle. It's just a circle and a half circle and then a butterfly on top. And then this last few things here, these are all little hearts. This was the napkin technique that I did, where I just crumpled up the top layer of a napkin, just a very thin layer. And then I added a bunch of glue onto my paper, and then I just crumpled up that napkin on top. and then used a punch to punch it out, and then I layered more cardstock behind it to make it really chunky. And so I have these really chunky dimensional looking hearts. All right, let's see. I also decided, since I had so much cardstock left over and not really any, you know, the thing to go with it, I just have all this cardstock. And so I thought, rather than trying to make embellishments with just this plain cardstock, I would make some photo mats that I could use on my layouts. And so I just cut down these into different sizes to use on my layout, and I figured if I didn't use them, I could just use them as scraps on another project. Okay, I know that was cheating a little bit, but I have a lot of cardstock left over and not much pattern paper to go with it. Okay, I also had a couple of border strips that were left over from when I made the base pages, and I thought maybe I would just use these as I was building my layouts. And so I just decided that I would go ahead and take these paper strips and just use them while I'm building the layouts as, you know, to like tuck underneath photos and to go across the layout. So I just decided that I would keep those as long pieces that I could use as border strips. Okay, and then the last thing that I have here is a whole bunch of punch outs. So I got to a point where I was having to keep grabbing punches, and so I decided that I would punch out a whole bunch of things so I would have something to work from. And I thought, well, if I don't use them when I'm making the embellishments, I can use them when I build the layouts. And so I have a whole bunch of butterflies, flowers, hearts, tabs, a few banner flags, and just things like that. That I could use when I'm actually creating my layout that would coordinate with all the papers that I have in here. All right, so one more thing that I wanted to kind of share with y'all was to actually take a look at some of the different things that I did to create some of these embellishments. So I have a few little scraps left, and I'm going to, I guess I should have showed y'all, this was one of the base pages that I created, and you can see here the embellishments are all going to coordinate really well, you know, with these base pages. And isn't that going to be cool? I think that's going to be awesome. Now I am going to bring in some other things from my craft room, just kind of mix it up a little bit. And so one of the things that I found when I was putting some things away, I happened to across this Jen Hadfield Heart of Home. It's a sticker sheet. I recently got it Tuesday mornings on clearance, and I thought this would go perfectly with this, all of the papers in this paper pad and all these base pages. So I'm going to be adding this in to kind of this kit that I created with all of these base pages and embellishments. Okay, so I wanted to share with y'all a couple of little things or different tricks and things that I did when I was creating my embellishments. So I'm going to go ahead and move this and show y'all what I have left. So these are all my scraps that I have left over. So there's not a whole lot there, but I do have, and also have a couple of things that I put off to the side over here, just to kind of prepare to do this. But I wanted to show y'all one thing was, this was one of the cut aparts. And I don't really like this too much. I think it would be really hard to use because it's kind of chunky and just a rectangle. And so what I did, just to kind of do something a little bit more my style, is that I took this and I cut it into a banner, following along with the shape of that there. And so you don't always need to use the cut aparts as they come. You can change them up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to add it to the top here. And I think I'm going to trim this off just a little bit because I can see some of the white showing there. So we'll just trim that down. And then I'm just going to take some of my glue here and add it on there. And we will just add this to the top of this little banner tag. And I just think that's so much cuter. I just like that so much better. And it's really just moving the paper from the bottom down here up to the top. And it also gives it a little bit more weight because you're layering the paper. Now, another thing that I like to do is just to go ahead and take a hole puncher, and we'll punch a hole, and then we can get a hole reinforcer and just add a hole reinforcer there. And I notice I can see a little bit of the paper showing, and I'll probably trim that up later. If I try to trim that up while I'm filming this, I'll probably mess it up. I'm not very good at cutting straight lines, and I have to concentrate really hard to do that. Okay, so I do have some hole reinforcers in here. What I might do is I might dump this out. This is what I do when I'm creating my embellishments, is I have all these little pieces over here so that I can kind of just sift through them and look and see what I have available to use. And so we'll just see what we have. And I found this little hole punch here, or hole reinforcer, and I'll just go ahead and add that on. And it's really handy to have some of this punched out ahead of time, because it does make it go much faster to create your embellishments if you have some things kind of created ahead of time. Now, you could also keep going and add in other embellishments, or you could just leave it plain like this and then add onto it later. And so I'm just going to do that, and you can see that I just created this really cute little tag from that other rectangular piece of cut apart. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to share with y'all was, how do you use up all these little strips? And so I love doing making my own paper using these strips. And so I have this piece of white cardstock. I just cut this into a rectangle. I think it's 2 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to turn this into a tag. And so I'm going to go ahead and just take my ATG and just put, you can use any double-sided adhesive that you have. I'm just have this right here on my table, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this. I guess I could use less adhesive, but I like to make sure that things are going to stay on there. Okay, and then what you can do is you can just take these pieces and you can just start layering them onto your paper. And you don't have to have it really straight, because you're going to cut this down. And okay, so this one, I don't really want to add that, because then the glue would be showing underneath that. But if I added another piece, like say this one here, this is really cool. This is a wood paper. It's almost like a wood veneer. So I could go ahead and add that one on next. And it's very thin and delicate, so it doesn't really do well by itself, but if you glue it onto some cardstock, it does really well. Now, because I don't have any more sticky there, I'm going to go ahead and just do some glue here and add this next. I don't think I put enough. That's the only thing, is sometimes I don't know how far over to go. Okay, so we're going to do this one next, and I'm going to kind of overlap that a little bit. Now, also paying attention, oh wait, I put it in the wrong place. I got glue all over that. That's not good. Darn. That's what happens when I try to talk and do something at the same time. Okay, Kieran. I'm just making a big mess here. Okay, it's just paper, right? Okay, so let's see, what do we want to do next? I don't have much here left to work with, but we'll just keep going with it. I'll just add this pink one next. And what I was about to say when I glued that to the wrong place is, you do want to pay attention to where these little pieces are, just to make sure you don't end up with a weird same thing here. I wanted to try to make sure I started it where the fringe started, just to make sure I didn't have a really skinny piece that maybe doesn't look good at the end when I go ahead and trim this down. Okay, let's see. We could also use some washi tape, and so I'm going to take some washi tape that I've been using on this project. I'm just going to add this piece here, and I'm hoping it made that wide enough. I think I did. This is a lot of fun, because you don't really have to worry too much about how you put this on. You just, you know, layer it on there. Now this fringe, I could have probably put something under the fringe, but I didn't think to do that. So let's see what else we have. We also have this paper, Maybe I could lift this up a little bit. Let's see. I could probably lift it up a little bit and just stick that pink paper under there. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's cute. Okay, and then we could maybe, let's see. Yeah, I'm getting down to like hardly nothing. And that's a good thing though. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these scraps. And then I will, I don't think I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll put another piece of washi tape there. I'm going to finish up the rest of these little scraps as much as I can, and then the rest is going to go in the trash, and I'm going to be okay with that. Because sometimes, you know, if you have a piece that's really small, you can't really do a whole lot with it. You just need to let it go. I tried my best to use up this entire paper pad, and I think I did a pretty good job. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I have this floral piece. Okay, so I think I'll go across. No, I think we'll do this one. That's pretty. And that's going to go all the way across. Okay. And then I think I'll add one more piece of this washi tape across this part here. All right. So now that we have all that glued down, all you have to do now is just flip this over and just go ahead and cut down. I usually use my bigger scissors, but they have disappeared somewhere in my craft room. But just follow along with the tag and just cut off all of the extra paper there. And this is super easy to do, and it's really a lot of fun. I think it creates such beautiful effects with all of the different layering, the washi tape. You can use pieces of border strips or fringe or anything that you have left over from just the scraps that you have available. Okay, so once we have our tag, and I kind of messed up there. I don't know how I did that. We'll just fix that. We will add a little bit more washi on top of that and cover it up. And it looks even better because it's got a double layer. Sometimes mistakes are happy accidents. That's what I think of whenever I make a mistake. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put in a hole punch here for my tag, and I'll just put it there in the center. And then I just need to find a hole reinforcer, and this one that I have that's gold here is really pretty, so I'll just go ahead and do that. And you know, I actually created these little hole reinforcers from some paper that was in my trash can that my friend left in there. She had this really pretty, it was a strip of paper. It was pale green with these little gold polka dots, and I thought I could probably use those little gold dots, and so I did. I cut them out of that piece of paper. Okay, so there is the tag. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and then you can decorate it even more. You can add in a butterfly or flowers or whatever else you want. Add some twine or string or, you know, something, a ribbon to the top of it. And I think that makes the most adorable tag ever. Okay, well, I have a little bit more work here to use up the rest of these scraps. Let's see, one other thing I wanted to share with y'all was this little tag. And this one, all I do here is to take a circle punch, and then I take another piece of paper, and here's my circle punch. And I'm using a 1 3/4, but you can use any size circle. And I'm just going to take the circle punch, and I'm going to punch like a half circle. And I think I'll do it from down here. Nothing, I make it hard for myself, but I want a certain part of it. Okay, so once I have that, since this is double-sided paper, I could use either side. I could use this red side or I could use the pink side. And because I was going to use the pink heart, maybe I should use the red. Okay. I'm thinking I'll do it like this. Oh, and in case you're wondering, the glue that I'm using is from Barely Art. It's a precision craft glue, and I really love that. It does not get clogged at all, and just really awesome. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and glue that on, and then I'm going to take this little heart. Actually, I think I might do some washi tape here in the middle, just to kind of balance that circle out, because I made that red part a little bit, or that pink part a little bit big, and it'll make it look a little bit more finished. And I'm just going to go around the edge of the circle there and trim that off. Okay, so I didn't realize it, but my phone had stopped recording, so I lost a little bit of my video footage. And so just where I stopped off, I had created this tag, and I also was in the process of creating this little round circle tag. And so I did finish this off. I just added in, let's see if I can get my camera to focus. I added in some washi tape, and then I attached a little heart on there with a gold staple, and then added in a hole reinforcer and created that little tag. Okay, so then I had a bunch of scraps left over, and I decided to keep working on it, so I made 3 more tags. So I made this one here, and then I made this little one here with the, this was with that wood paper. I think that wood paper is so pretty. It's super cool. And then I also made this little tag. So lots of little tags. And then I was just left over, I just had a bunch of little strips of paper left over. So I decided I would take that and glue it onto some cardstock. And I'm just going to take my punches and do some punches, maybe some circle punches. So I thought we could go ahead and give that a try and see if this is going to work or not. But if it doesn't, it's just a bunch of papers. So let's see. Okay. Oh, so that's awesome. Look at that. That's super cool. So I can take this paper and just punch it with some punches and make some really cool cutouts with it. So I could also maybe use this butterfly punch that I have here. Let's try this one and see if we can make something here. And one of the things I like about these punches is that you can turn them kind of in different ways to see what you're going to get before you punch it out. And I think I really want this over here, but the bottom of it's hanging off a little bit. So let's maybe bring it down. Okay, so that's cool. All right, so that's super awesome. Really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of this paper and just punch it out. And what I'll have left over is just a couple of more little scraps that I thought I could use to decorate with. So I have some mirror card that I had used my fringe scissors on. I have a piece of lace left over. I have this piece of trim or border trim, and then also this little piece of vellum. And so those were things that I didn't think would work really well if I glued them down to the paper. And so I thought maybe I could just take these little pieces and possibly use them to do some things on the cutouts. I might probably do quite a few circles because I think circles would work really well. I could also use the banner tag. I have this punch right here, which is a banner flag, and I could do some with that one as well. So I'll probably go through and just go ahead and punch out shapes from this paper, and then I'll have completely used up this entire paper pad. I think that's so awesome, and I ended up with so many embellishments to use for my scrapbook layout. Plus I have all these little punch outs that I could use as well. Okay, so I think that's all I have for this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did like this video, please give it a like because it does help me to know what types of videos y'all like to watch. And if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you as a subscriber. Okay, so I do have a short video clip of my two dogs, Bella and LilyBelle, that I'll put at the very end if y'all want to stick around for that. But that's all I have. So y'all take care, have an awesome day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now. Hi, Miss B, what you doing? Hey, girls. What y'all doing, Miss Girls? Are y'all following me around? You're following me around, I know. You want a treat. You do? Okay. Well, what kind okay, I got it. What kind of treat would you like? You want one of those? Okay. Well, you can't have all the treats. You just can have one. Which one would you like, Miss B? Okay, you want one of those? What about you, LilyBelle? What would you like? You want what she's having? She'll take that too? Okay. You're gonna order for LilyBelle? Okay. Alright. Alright. So you're ready for your... Okay, you want me to hurry up? Yeah? You're being awful... You're being awfully... You won't even let me talk. You're being awfully sassy. You're not... You're not... Okay. She's on a rant. You don't like being called sassy? No? You're gonna run away? Oh, y'all are too much. Okay, you're gonna be a good girl? If I give you a treat, will you be a good girl? Of course. Okay. Okay, let me go get it. Just hold on 1 minute, okay? Okay, so here's their basket of treats. They have a lot of treats right now because they have gotten quite a bit for Christmas. So I think we'll give them a yummy bone. This one is from Loving Pets. And I did get this from Tuesday Mornings. And I like the Tuesday morning treats because they're mostly made in the United States, which is really cool. And this one is made with real chicken. Okay, so you want one of these, Miss Bella? You want one of these? Would that be good? That would be acceptable? Just checking it out. Want one of those? Would that be good? If you must. Okay. I'm gonna get one out of the bag. Okay, so y'all ready for your treat? Yeah? Can you down? I just keep getting closer. Bella, LilyBelle, down. Good job. LilyBelle, down. Good job. Okay, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Okay. And there they go.